This is Tim Talks About Everything, and today I decided to do a 2021 favorites of all the rocks or fossils or minerals. One acquisition, but everything else I've found. And the reason why I did that is because, the pandemic hit us all pretty hard, and some of us decided to spend more time in the out of doors, and I like doing that as well. But at the same time, I thought, well, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to start making videos of this. And it's really more for my amusement, but I got the channel and I decided to give it a try. And if it is entertaining to anybody, then so be it. And if it is informative at times, then wonderful. If it's helpful at all, then I like that. So we're just going to take a look at some of my favorites over the last 2 years, or almost 2 years. And we started out in Israel when the pandemic really got started. And so we were very thankful that we got back into the country before everything was shutting down, because countries were shutting down while we were still over in Israel. And so we're going to start out in actually Jordan, and then we'll go to Israel with some things that I picked up here and there, and then back to the States. So enjoy. From the United States.
America, welcome to Petra, very good people.
This is very nice. I like it here.
You wanna buy for your wife? She'll love you more.
No.
Silver, not too much.
No.
3 for $1.
No.
You have $10 one paper. I give you single. I need $10 one paper.
No. No, thank you though. I'm just taking pictures right now. I did end up buying a rock from that boy. He had these agates, and I didn't necessarily need an agate, and I didn't really believe that it came from Jordan, and I didn't believe the story that he told about the priests believing that they had special significance because of the dark shadows and so forth in the agate. But I just thought, well, this young man is out here, he's enterprising, he's trying to sell something, and maybe he needs a few dollars more than I do. So I thought I'll just buy something from him. It's hard for me to resist buying stuff from kids that are out trying to sell things. So we were at Petra. Petra is a beautiful place. Petra is so scenic, and we've seen it in the movies, but the movies in no way do it justice. What does that rock look like? It looks exactly like this. Another one of my favorites is this Omar. Now, Omars are found, I guess, mostly in Lake Superior, but I found this in Lake Michigan. In fact, I found it in Empire, on Empire Beach. And I know that they're not supposed to be there, but I found it. I had this checked out by an expert in a rock shop, and sure enough, it is an Omar. And the funny thing is, that was 2020, and then this year, 2021, my grandson and I were walking that same beach, and we found another one. And it's not exactly like this, but it looks like 99% like this one. So is there a single source for Omars? Maybe there's room for another source somewhere. So it's one of my favorites, partly because it debunks the theory. Not really, but it challenges slightly the theory of one source. And that's what makes it interesting. Other than that, it's just an Omar, and there are lots of them. I mentioned that you go to some countries and they're pretty fussy about picking up rocks and pieces of pottery and things like that. But boy, you go to Israel and you can pick up a piece of pottery pretty much wherever, as long as it's not something that's pretty large, a pretty large piece, or with a certain kind of pattern on it, or a handle, or the lip, or something like that, or the bottom of it, bottom of the pot. So you can pick up a lot of things in Israel. The old joke is that when God created the world, he had a lot of rocks left over, and so he dumped them all in Israel. And so they don't mind you taking pottery, which is pretty much like paper plates for people back in the day, and they don't mind you taking a rock. So we went to the place where David and Goliath had their famous battle. And we went to the brook that's in that famous valley. And I'm not saying it's the exact same location of that brook where David picked up those stones, but I picked up 2 stones. It's kind of funny because there were some stones there that are really kind of soft material, and then I saw some chert and some flint. So I thought, well, David would be smart enough to pick up a piece of chert because that's really hard, and the flint, same thing. And then I got home and I got to looking at the chert, and okay, that's just chert, no big deal. And then I got to looking at the flint, and I realized this is really kind of like a flake, and it's been worked. It's been worked on the edge. So I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. I have something from Israel that has been worked by a human. And I'm not saying that it's from the time of David at all. But at the same time, anytime that you can find a piece of flint that is worked by a human, you're talking Stone Age, and that's kind of cool. So I'm really glad to have it. Of course, there's no way of dating it because it doesn't have any really distinguishing marks, but it's awesome nonetheless, and especially where I found it. Another one of my favorites from right here at home would be this little Brewerton side notch. Found that out in a farmer's field. It's first arrowhead or point that I've found in a really long time. And I don't go out looking for projectile points and artifacts very much, but I might start doing more of it in the future because there are so many items out there in fields and creeks waiting to be found. And I know that some people don't approve of picking up artifacts and taking them home, but the way I look at it is I'm saving it from the plow and I cherish it. And I have Native Americans in my family tree. I also have settlers in my family tree. And sometimes they got along really well and even intermarried and raised children together. And other times they didn't get along so well and participated in some pretty bloody incidents. But anyway, I like this little Brewerton side notch. And another one that kind of goes along with it, found it in the same field, and I think it's the same material, is this other one. And I really like it too. So 2 more favorites. Another favorite is this Geode. I cut it in 2 with my tile saw. And because it was pink inside and kind of cool, I mean, I know it's just quartz, but I thought the color was nice. I don't have a polisher. I don't have a tumbler. I don't have anything like that. I would much rather pay somebody else like Corner Jim up in Michigan to polish my stuff for me. I mean, if I find something extra special and I want it polished, then I'll take it to somebody else and have them polish it. And I like the work that other people do, and I just as soon find the stuff and let somebody else polish it. I don't polish very much, but I thought this was kind of cool. Even though it's just quartz, it's not that special, but it's one of my favorites, mainly because of the color. Another favorite would be these pieces of crinoid stems. And my friend and I had permission to go on some property, mainly because he was related to the people that owned it. And so we knew there were fossils there because we had been turkey hunting there before and we'd seen the fossils. So he invited me to go back and hunt for fossils. And so I was very happy to take him up on his offer. So we were suspecting that there might be some crinoid pieces there. And sure enough, it was like picking up Easter eggs. We took a few. Now we were looking for other things as well. So if we'd looked harder, we probably could have found more, but this was a nice little sample. And I'm calling them favorites because it was a fun day with my friend and we found these and a lot more. And it's kind of nice to go anticipating something and then finding what you're anticipating. Another favorite would be this heart-shaped geode. Now I don't go in for, saving anything that's heart-shaped, but on this particular occasion, we were looking for geodes and we found this one amongst a lot of other little geodes, and I thought, wow, that's shaped like a heart. And so I took it to my wife. She thought it was pretty cool. It's kind of like giving a card to your wife. She likes it, she thinks it's special, and then eventually she's ready to give it back to you because it's just a rock. So I keep it more for the sentiment of the occasion, and it was just kind of fun surprising her with a heart-shaped rock, which is really a geode. Another fun rock that we found is this cool fossil that has that pattern. I picked it up because of the red and because of the pattern, and I didn't really look at the edge of it. I just looked at the side, and there was quite a bit of this kind of stuff. I'm kind of like, okay, I'll take a specimen, and I don't have to take everything. I'll just take one specimen or two specimens. And then when I got it home, I looked at this edge, and it's like, wow, that looks like a Petoskey stone. Now, I don't know if it is, and if you know what it is, then please leave a comment. But yeah, I'm going to give you a better picture of this. It's kind of bleached out now, but it does look like, it's definitely coral. Now, whether it's Petoskey or not, I don't know. This point is another Brewerton side notch, I believe. So that is in the Archaic period, maybe late Archaic. And it's a nice point though. I mean, it's all there and it's very sharp. I like the material as well. Last but not least, these are becoming some of my favorites because I've only recently, just in the last 2 years, 18 months or so, decided to start looking for these, or maybe recognizing what they are or what they possibly could be. So these are either game balls that the Native Americans would have used to play games, maybe roll it along the ground and shoot their arrows at it, that kind of thing, or other games. Or they could be hammerstones, where they would use these to begin to fashion some projectile points. Now this one here I sent off to our Indiana State archaeologist, which a lot of states have that kind of service, and I wanted to get it identified, and she said that it possibly was a game ball because of the evidence of pecking on it. I sent it off to an archaeologist friend of mine. He said the same thing. So I will hold that up as a possible. I'm not going to say absolutely for sure, but a possible. And if you look at it, I mean, it's extremely round. And when I found it, it was in a field where I and others had found many projectile points. So it is an artifact that came from an area that is known to have been at least a temporary camp, if not a more permanent camp. And, you know, when you find something like this, and there's nothing else like it in the area, I mean, it just stands out as, wow, this is unique. So maybe this is something that was used in some practical way. This one also is extremely round, and it also is a possible hammerstone. I'm less likely to believe that that is more than just a natural formation, but at the same time, it's a possibility. And then finally, this one I found just recently in a creek. And the thing that I think is distinctive about it is it has this evidence of pecking here, where it looks like it's very smooth on this end, but on this end, you can see where it was probably used in a mechanical way in some way or another. The projectile points are, of course, very exciting. These, you pick them up and you say, I wonder. But they are in my list of favorites, at least in the last 18 months. And so I thought I would share them with you. Well, this is Tim Talks About Everything signing off, and I thank you for tuning in. And if you watched this far, I just want to thank you for paying attention to what I had to say about these are my favorites, and I'd love to see your favorites too. I don't know if that would be possible for you to leave a comment or something, but I would love to take a look at what your favorites are. We all have our favorites. Now, my favorites may not be all that spectacular to somebody else. You know, I'm not the greatest rockhound in the world by any stretch, but they're my favorites and they're special to me. They're a real treasure to me. And part of it is my family tree, my family history, and part of it is just the wonder of geology and rocks and minerals and fossils.